And Donovan, it is a championship Monday. If anybody out there is a Seahawks fan, I hope you are riding as high as I am after the Seahawks came away victorious in the Super Bowl last night against the Patriots. It was an absolutely fantastic contest. Just savor it if you are feeling good today, because championship opportunities do not come along too often. Something else that hasn't come along too often as of late: sunshine, and we are actually going to see some of that today. So I'm now going to turn the camera around so we can jump into the weather update on this Monday. Pardon my finger as I flip the camera around. There we go. There is a look outside at the Tri-Cities this morning. You can certainly see some of those clouds out there, but you can also see some of that sunshine trying to peek through, and in general, we are going to see some sunshine as we go throughout this Monday. A pretty nice afternoon coming our way in all things considered. Temperatures are going to be pretty nice in the forecast area today too. But before we get to there, let's talk about what happened yesterday. Besides the big football game, we also saw some pretty significant rainfall around eastern Washington and northeast Oregon. In fact, we broke records in some area communities. Walla Walla picked up over an inch of rainfall on Sunday, breaking the record of 3/10 of an inch, or just over 3/10 of an inch, from 1960. In Hermiston, we recorded nearly 3/4 of an inch of rain on Sunday, breaking the record of just over 4/10 of an inch from 1985. And in Pendleton, we picked up over half an inch of rainfall on Sunday, breaking the record of just shy of half an inch of rainfall from 1900. So again, yesterday was a very wet day. Contrast that to today, where we're seeing some showers this morning, and we'll actually be looking at some sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures today, I mentioned it earlier, I referenced it earlier, temperatures today are really not going to be too shabby. We're going to see those highs today into the 50s across much of the region. In fact, in the Tri-Cities, it wouldn't surprise me if we do touch the mid-50s on this Monday. Look for low 50s in the Yakima Valley today, mid-40s in the Kittitas Valley, a bit cooler, and then upper 40s close to 50 degrees for the Blue Mountain foothills. Again, everybody, this afternoon, we'll be looking at some sunshine in the forecast area. Now let's talk about the wind. Something that we haven't discussed too often over the past several weeks. Winds have been remarkably light for this region, but for today we could see gusts as high as 25 miles per hour in the Tri-Cities, gusts up to 30 miles per hour for the Blue Mountain foothills. These wind speeds, not terribly noteworthy for this region, at least in most circumstances. These winds would not be terribly noteworthy for this region, but wind has been oh so still. I think it is worth mentioning. Now, as we go into Tuesday, everybody will be faced with light wind once again. So let's talk about what's to come over the next 2 days. Well, wind is going to be turning light on Tuesday, and we are going to be looking at light wind even into Wednesday. In fact, the middle part of this week is going to be remarkably calm, partly to mostly cloudy skies on Tuesday and Wednesday, with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Again, not too shabby of a weather pattern for early January if you want to get outside and maybe do a little recreation or a little yard work. So let's talk about if there is any big weather makers coming our way. Let's look at the Storm Tracker Futurecast for that. Well, what I first want to point out is that as we go into Wednesday, it doesn't look like there's going to be any precipitation coming our way. So if anybody may be going to the west side to view the championship parade, the Seahawks championship parade on Wednesday, you shouldn't have any adverse weather conditions to deal with. It is as we get towards the coming weekend, namely as we get into Saturday, where it does look like another weather maker may take aim at the inland northwest with some rain and mountain snow. That's still almost a week away, so there's definitely some question about timing and everything else. But weather models in general are trending towards a damper next weekend, Valentine's Day weekend, President's Day weekend, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of the weather story. Again, let's just click back to those record rainfall totals that we saw yesterday. So the big weather story just kind of remains that we did see a lot of rainfall yesterday. Again, record-breaking values for some of us yesterday. And then as we do go into the weekend, as we go through much of this week, we are going to be falling back into a calm weather pattern. Much of this week will be very calm on the weather, with high temperatures into the 40s, if not the 50s. And then as we do progress into next weekend, again, Valentine's Day weekend, President's Day weekend, whatever you want to bill it as, we could be looking at some more active weather coming our way. So that's kind of the whole story. Pretty active this weekend. Again, a lot of folks maybe stayed inside to watch that big-time football game. I know I certainly did. This week, if you want to get outside, The weather in general will not be too shabby. And then if you maybe have plans for next weekend, well, you're just going to have to, or I should say, we are all collectively just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens. But at this point, models are trending pretty damp. I likely will do another one of these on Wednesday. I try to do one of these YouTubes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Again, that's under normal circumstances. So I hope to do another one of these on Wednesday. And you can join me then if you want an update on that potential weekend storm system. But right now, I'm going to flip the camera back around so you can get a beautiful look out at the Tri-Cities again. Again, it is a pretty gorgeous sunrise this morning with some of those clouds and sun breaks. I hope all of you have an absolutely tremendous Monday.